Hi, Teri here from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is a little box and some cards. The box measures 3¼ inches wide and 3¼ inches high, and it's 2 inches deep. I've used the Hippo Happiness stamp set and coordinating dies, together with some of the Brights Designer Series paper. And inside this box there are 8 3-inch square cards. The stamp set has 4 main images, so I've made 2 cards for each of the images. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you're interested in reproducing it, take a screenshot so you can refer to it later. I'm using Bermuda Bay card for my box, and I'm going to place it into the scoreboard with the longest side across the top. And then I'll score down at 3¼ inches, 5¼ inches, 8½ inches and 10½ inches. Then I'll turn my cardstock and score down at 2 inches, 5¼ inch and 7¼ inch. The top of the box has the ½ inch score line running right across the top, and then 2 inches down from that is another score line. The base of the box is obviously at the opposite end. Now on the bottom right corner you have a small rectangular section which I will remove. The longer section above it will stay, but the 2 sections above that will also be removed. And then I'm going to cut up each of the vertical score lines along the base to create tabs. So starting with that bottom right corner, I'm going to remove the section, and then on the top and bottom of the tab that will remain, I'm just going to notch the end, and then the 2 top sections will be removed. Along the bottom edge I'm going to cut up the score lines, and then for the little square tabs I'm going to notch each side of those. So a straight cut up on either side of that square tab, and then I'm going to notch the side edges. The left hand top 2 corner sections are going to be removed. This panel will be the back of the box, so I don't need anything above it. Then I'm going to separate the remaining sections by cutting up the vertical score lines, and I'm going to make 2 cuts because I want to remove that score line. And I'm cutting through the first horizontal score line down to the second one. Then the only thing remaining to do is to reduce the size of the 2 smaller tabs. So you've got a little square tab with a little rectangular tab above it. You just want to cut across the middle of that square tab. Just reduce the size by approximately a half. Now on that back section on the left hand side, I'm going to mark the halfway point on the top edge, and then taking my 1½ inch circle punch, although you could use any circle punch or any circle die for this, I'm going to use that mark to centre my punch and just punch out a part circle, and this just helps when you remove the cards from the box. The 3 tabs at the top of the box need to have their corners rounded. Now the larger tab isn't too bad, but getting into the corners of the smaller tab can be a little bit tricky. You just need to fold everything out the way so you can insert the card into your corner punch. Then you can fold on all the score lines and burnish them with your bone folder. I can now put the box together by adding glue to that long 1/2 inch tab on the side. And then I can close the opposite end onto it. The back of the box is the side with the notch punched out of it, and when we're doing the base, that's the tab that needs to fold in first of all. Then you want to add glue to the remaining 3 tabs, fold the sides in first and then the front tab, and this leaves a nice edge at the bottom of the front of the box. You can then add your cards and envelopes and close the box. To decorate the front of the box, I've got a square of normal weight Whisper White card and another square of Bright's Designer Series paper from the 6-inch stack, and this is in Bermuda Bay. And then I've got my decorative panel. Now, I'm not going to show you how I created this panel because I'm going to show you how to create the cards, and it's done in much the same way. And remember, all the measurements you need for creating both the box and the cards was shown on the measurements screen at the start of this video. These are the envelopes that I'm using on this project, and they come in a pack of 40. They're 3 1/8 of an inch square, which is 7.9 centimetres. I've made my own card bases from thick Whisper White card, and these measure 6 inches by 3 inches, which is 15.2 centimetres by 7.6 centimetres. And I've scored them at the halfway point, which is 3 inches or 7.6 centimetres. I'll be using several inks from the Bright's colour collection today: Gorgeous Grape, Bermuda Bay, Poppy Parade and Pacific Point. My contrast colour will be Daffodil Delight for all the cards. I'll be using a different colour for each card. Then I'll also be using Granny Apple Green for the leaves. I'll also be using Memento Tuxedo Black ink for the faces. This is the Hippo Happiness stamp set, and I'm using all of the images today apart from the balloon string. Each set of images has 3 stamps, and I'm starting with the unicorn, and I'm using Gorgeous Grape at full strength for the first image. For my second image, I'm stamping off first, and then for the face I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black. The hippo is in Pacific Point, so I've stamped him at full strength, and then the second image again I stamp off first, and then I can stamp the face. Next is my little lamb, and I'm using Bermuda Bay. So I've got my full strength image, then I'm stamping off to give a lighter tone, and I'm over stamping the first image. Then I can stamp the face. Now I'm going to stamp 2 butterflies, and these are in Poppy Parade, and I'm using Daffodil Delight at full strength for the second image, so no stamping off for this one. And then I can stamp his tiny little face. Using Daffodil Delight ink, I also need to stamp 2 flowers, 2 balloons, a bow tie and a unicorn horn. Now I've only stamped enough images here for 4 cards, so if you're making 8 you need to double up on everything. All the stamped images can be die cut using dies from the Hippo and Friends set, and then I'm using this die to create my panels. All the main images and the 2 little flowers have dimensionals added to the reverse. The first thing I'm going to do is add my horn to the unicorn's head. And then I'm going to glue the bow to the hippo's head. Finally, I'm just going to join the balloons together. There's a little stamping to be done on the panels that I've die cut, and these were die cut from thick Whisper White again to give them a little bit more stability. Now 2 of the panels need leaves stamped on them, and I'm using the Granny Apple Green ink for that. And then for the unicorn panel, I'm going to use the little star cluster image, and I'm going to stamp that 4 times around the outside of the panel. For the butterfly panel, I'm going to stamp 2 of the little flight squiggly things in using Memento Tuxedo black ink. I'm going to finish off each of these panels just by adding 1 or 2 of our basic rhinestones. I'm using cardstock from our Brights collection and designer series paper from our Brights collection, and these colours match the 4 colours of the main images. First of all, the paper needs to be layered onto the cardstock, and then I can add these strips to the centre of each of the little card bases. And that's it. That's my little box and card set complete. Now I've created 8 cards for this box. On the screen at the start of this video, I've also given you all the measurements you need to create a box that holds just 4 cards. This little box still measures 3¼ inches wide and tall, but it's just 1 inch deep. And it easily holds 4 of these cards with their envelopes. So it's entirely up to you which size you want to create, either one for 8 cards or one for 4. They're created in exactly the same way. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.